with a powerful news report. Iran is nation out there saying if you support this economic warfare that Donald Trump is putting on Iran, it will be taken as an act of war. Okay, it will be taken as an act of war. Before we get popping, make sure you get over there to Patreon, the link right down in the video description. Click that link. Get access to all the powerful presentations. It's over 600 that the general got. Now let's get back to this. Now it seems to be that this economic thing that Donald Trump is trying to put down on Iran, they already feeling some type of crunch. They already, because we have to be, reasonable when we assess what's going on in the Strait of Hormuz, the Persian Gulf. Yes, strategically, Iran has outwitted the United States, has outwitted the United States to this point, most definitely. But they still going into their bag of tricks, and they're not done yet. And so you starting to see these Iranian or the president, and they talking about they want to end the war now. I haven't been hearing that, but so obviously that paper eventually gonna play a fucking it's gonna play part of decision making from this point forward, you know, cause money is drying up. It ain't coming. Like, it's one thing for somebody to it's one thing to be getting some money through the back door. But most people know that if the door wide open and they able to sell the oils and shit and petroleum, that they gonna make trillions of dollars. That's $1 trillion industry. Yeah, yeah. But they most definitely where they seem to be threatened by that money now. Because they already in a fucked up predicament. They already in the fucked up predicament. We not going, we understand our strategizing, Donald Trump, but nevertheless, they still, the war is still going on. And eventually, money play a thing. So they feel they very, that money thing, they done took offense to that. So they saying, motherfucker, if y'all stop doing business with us, and because of Donald Trump's sanctions, we fucking targeting your ass. That's what they saying. And so even Europe, they talking about bombing, anywhere where the United States got bases and things, they talking about that could be a target, And so this is escalating. You see the Israelis and Turkey is escalating. And it looked like, man, it's on the verge of a fucking some form of a nuclear bomb is gonna end up being dropped by somebody. Somebody gonna fuck around and it's gonna be really a World War III. You said it before I can get it out there. It's looking like it's really about on the level of world where you got five nations on both sides. Everybody picking and choosing a side, and the gloves could really come off. And so, yeah, them sanctions is really because they already hurt. You cannot believe, Donald Trump and head. I don't even call head chef name because he's not even qualified for me to even call his name. I don't even see him, man. He's like a fucking Boy Scout. Donald Trump is not a military man. He thinking about some goddamn midterm elections. He ain't, if anybody else like George, and I ain't for no George Bush would have bombed their ass. He would have been over there on their head by now. You see what I'm saying? He'd have been in their motherfucking chest by now. And if they would have dropped 14,000 bombs, boy, it'd be body bags all over that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? How many people died? 14,000 bombs? Man, they supposed to have bodies stacked up over there, man. There ain't no bodies. Ain't know what I'm saying? So I don't see, what the fuck. It's like they just, that's a reason for them to ask for $6 trillion to be able to fleece the fucking and probably got some backdoor deals with a lot of these military corporations where yeah they asking for 6 trillion, but what they get, that shit probably ain't gonna cost but 1 trillion. You know what I'm saying? It might, and they take the other 5 trillion and chop it up amongst all the elite, and they keep that shit for themselves. Because that's really what they've been doing. If you asking for all this money every year, you asking for billions but you ain't been to war for real in a long time. So if you ain't been to war since the fucking Gulf War, why the fuck is why is the motherfucking billions of dollars? And then when you finally go to war, you run out of motherfucking missiles and bullets and all of that in a small amount of time. Motherfucker, you ain't been to war in goddamn 20 years. You supposed to have a stockpile. You supposed to be dropping bombs like it ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? You supposed to not be, you ain't even supposed to run out of goddamn bombs. You know what I'm saying? Shit, you got to you shit. You supposed to already have that shit like, if I want to drop shit 1,000 bombs a day. If I want to drop 1,000 bombs, how many do I have to have in my stockpile to fucking be able to do that? So I mean, this shit is ridiculous. Yeah. You say, did I declare jihad? Did you? You see? Yeah. Anyway, it's always somebody coming here, simpleton. You know what I'm saying? Go take your medicine, go to sleep. Time to go to bed, nighty night. Take your psychotic medicine and go on and get in your straight jacket and go to sleep. But anyway, so Iran is threatening. If you stop doing business, but motherfucker, Nod is getting in the crunch of shit, and we really gonna see because I think it's a couple days. I think it's Tuesday. Yeah, you drop 1,000 a day, you need 1,000 a day bill. Well, if you ain't went to war in damn near 20 years, you supposed to have that shit. I mean, goddamn, you ain't been in no real war shit for 20 years. You supposed to be able to, you should have that on, you supposed to have that. That ain't shit. Even if you didn't make 1,000 a day, if you over 20 years, if you made them every other day, every 3 days, you supposed in 20 years, you supposed to have that. Shit, you know what I'm saying? You supposed to have that on deck to be able to drop 1,000 bombs a day for 365 days. I don't know how many millions of that is, which you should have that. And even if you put it in certain areas of the goddamn world, where you ain't just sitting on a whole lot in one spot, you supposed to have that. Ain't no motherfucking reason where you ain't got that. Yeah. Yeah, it most definitely not. Yeah. Yeah, well, that it don't, well, you know what? Just because you could drop 1,000 a day, don't mean you got to drop 1,000. Because that's probably unrealistic. I just use that as that's probably unrealistic. But if you have to get into it with China or some motherfucker like that, yeah, yeah. Be able to have because like Colin Powell say, overwhelming force. overwhelming force. Don't, if you gonna go with overwhelming force. You see what I'm saying? So that's a good number. Be ready to drop 1,000 a motherfucking day. You know what I'm saying? For 365 days. And if a motherfucker still breathing after that, throw in the towel. That's right. That's right. That's right. Most definitely. But anyway, family, we gonna see because this shit is heating up. Even it's going to another level. Trump and them supposed to be putting these sanctions on Iran, I believe, in Tuesday. And so Iran say if you yeah, if you side with the United States on these sanctions, we considering that an act of war. Okay, well we gonna see. We gonna see what it turned out to be, family. I appreciate y'all, man. All y'all out there that, I know y'all rooting for Iran. I told y'all to get y'all, I'm not rooting, but, because y'all root for the Arab, that's over there enslaving black people all through Asia and Africa. You see, I say, why don't you get your Airbnb over there when the motherfuckers start bombing over there again? Because I tell you what, after that goddamn midterm election, people believe, hey, that man might, especially if they win. Oh my God. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no telling what they got in store over there. Anyway, I'll see y'all in a minute. Click that link, get over to Patreon, get that work, and I'll see y'all black here in a minute. Boom. Black Pop.